Welcome to Shitbox Garage. Okay, I went to the auction and I bought a 2008 Jeep Patriot for $1,700. It was in rough condition and it had a noise that sounded to me like a timing chain tensioner malfunction. The wheels were chipped up pretty bad and the tires were basically shot on it. The interior had a cigarette burn, a lot of dog hair. Overall, not too bad of condition. Of course, it had a stain in the rear seat and a lot of markings on the headliner. I don't believe that duct tape is the perfect tool for every situation. So I will get started cleaning this damaged Decklid trim by using some 3M general purpose adhesive cleaner, basically enamel reducer. I spray the entire area because I want it to slowly dissolve as I'm working on one part, so before I get to the other part. Looks like the trim plastic has gotten a little brittle, causing the bolts to break off. Of course, the best way to repair this is to purchase a new trim piece, but since this is Shipbox Garage, we want to keep prices as low as possible. Anytime you have to use enamel reducer on a paint finish, it will end up being dulled and foggy. So you're definitely going to have to machine polish it when you're done. I'm using the soldering iron to temporarily hold the plastic in place so I can put the glue on. I used 2-part epoxy to glue these in, and of course it doesn't always hold, but it did in this case. I don't know that it's necessary to disconnect the battery, but I do a lot of times when I'm working on anything electrical. So I might as well clean the terminals while I'm here. Seems sturdy enough. Turns out it wasn't a timing tensioner at all, it was an accessory bearing. I just have to figure out which one. I replaced the belt tensioner for $30. Lo and behold, it was an alternator bearing noise, so I replaced it for $150. Now the noise is gone. Occasionally I will use a heat gun to remove dealer stickers, but in this case I quickly grabbed a razor blade and some glass cleaner. Looks like I'm going to have to remove the front and rear bumpers and repaint them. I'm glad to see that this Jeep is rust-free. This step molding can use a little help. When I'm working with a bumper that has a dent or a crease in it like this, a lot of times I will use a heat gun to soften up the plastic and then bend it into place while simultaneously spraying cold water on it to get it to maintain its shape. Of course, it won't be perfect, but I can get it a little closer so that I can use some Bondo and smooth it out. Now I'll take some lacquer thinner and clean up the paint that's scuffed off onto the bumper. I can sometimes repair a bumper without having to paint, but this is not one of those times. Using some 80 grit sandpaper, I can sand this down below the body lines. I'm not trying to make this ship box perfect, I just want to make it look a lot straighter than it is. Perfect costs money, and we're trying to spend as little as possible so we can make a profit in the end. When it comes to safety though, it's a complete different strategy. Anything that I do to a car for safety, I make sure is done properly. So no burning out ABS or airbag lights, but cheap cosmetic repairs will not hurt anyone. My game plan is not to paint the entire bumper, but just the end. I put the primer on a little heavy so that I can feel the scratches. Then I will use some glazing putty to fill in the pits and scratches. And then I will sand it and make it as smooth as possible, as quick as possible. After that, we put a very light coat of color, which I matched off of the paint code. There's a paint store close to me that will mix paint in an aerosol can so that I can do bumper repairs or other small touch-up. After a few coats, I let it dry. And as you can see, it's full of orange peel and other dirt because we painted it in the garage. So I'm definitely going to need to color sand it, which you can see that I've done here. There are a few other dings here and there, so I've repaired them with some inexpensive paintless dent repair tools. As you can see here, the airbag light is staying on. I used a blue driver scanning tool and discovered that it was the driver's side seatbelt tensioner. I found one on eBay for $60. After restarting the car, the airbag light is now off. To clean the engines, I usually use the Purple Power cleaner from Walmart. It is very inexpensive and seems to cut through the grease without damaging the paint. Now this is an inexpensive car, so I'm not spending a lot of time detailing it. I'm just getting the high points. But now I need to do something about the wheels and tires. Surprisingly enough, these Jeep Patriots have an oddball size rim, so it wasn't going to be easy to find a decent price online. So I'll have to put these on the back burner until I find something. Before I can machine polish, I'll need to color sand the areas that need to be fine-tuned. Now these blend areas don't look great up close, but after polishing they will look fine. Remember, someone will just use this car as a daily driver, so there's no point in going overboard on the paint job. I decided to paint the wheels with a semi-gloss black engine paint. It's my experience that it will last the longest short of powder coating. I found some used tires for $100 that still had decent tread on them, and I painted the center caps to match. Before I machine polish, I usually cover up the emblems and some areas with masking tape. I cover up the wipers and the louvered cowl to prevent extra cleanup towards the end. When I machine polish, I usually leave a lot of material on the paint. I find if you buff it dry, then the buffing pad itself will create swirl in the paint job. And yes, I did use a foam pad for the final pass. I shot this with my phone, so I wasn't able to show everything I'm doing, but I have since purchased a GoPro 360 so I can use both hands. Before I remove the polish, I will put the wheels on and clean them all at the same time. I think the wheels look good with the smoke tinted windows. Of course, I can't clean the interior and hold the camera at the same time, so this is the result of a quick and slick cleanup. At the end, I put a cheap wax on the Jeep. I was looking through Craigslist and I found a kayak roof rack for $20. It gives the truck a little more character. Now I realize this Jeep is not perfect, but I wouldn't be embarrassed to drive it around town. I put it on Craigslist for $49.50 and sold it within a few hours for $4,500. Not bad for a few days' work. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Shipbox Garage.